take care of myself. If I'm in an assisted care facility, then I will be monitored all the time. People will know my whereabouts all the time. If my whereabouts are known all the time, and it is verified by professional staffing, then when somebody kills Leslie Snell or Danica Garner or somebody's probably going to kill Ted Bollinger, we already know that. If I'm in an assisted care facility when that happens, then they'll know that I didn't do it. And instead of going after me, and going after my sister, and going after my friends and my family and my loved ones, they'll actually try to find out what happened to that person. Law enforcement will actually do their jobs. These people who want to pretend like I'm some big terrible monster will know where I am at 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year for the rest of my life. And I'm going to tell you something, folks. All it takes is 3 signatures. My 3 closest family members know if my little sister and my dad and my mother, they do exist. They're not family, but according to the law, they're fucking close enough. If the 3 of them signed papers to have me put in an assisted care facility, we should have done from the beginning. These people destroyed my life. Natalie Bollinger and her friends and her family. They destroyed my life. What little life I had in Boulder, Colorado. These people destroyed my life with slander, and nobody would listen to my side. Their slander resulted in me not being able to go see my loved ones in the one place that was positive in my life, and that's Boulder, Colorado. People say, oh, well, everybody left. Man, Colorado's a drag. Nobody cool's left anymore. You know what? That's my older brother, motherfucker. I love him very much. And you know what? Although he wanted to go and hide under a fucking rock when I went through all this. When Sherman Watson and Amy got together and tried claiming that my older brother was a child molester, and a rat, and that I'd verify it. You fucking kidding me? Hell no. That ain't Eric. Michael? Yeah. My little brother Michael, maybe, yeah, more than likely. But Eric, not a chance in fucking hell. You go touching little kids, he'll beat your fucking ass. Unlike me, Rabbit is a violent motherfucker. Eric being such a violent motherfucker is the reason I'm not a violent motherfucker. Holy shit, he's violent. And he's trained. The man took Duke's Rue Ninjutsu for years. That's right, folks. He knows how to break your shit, and in his fights, he doesn't use ninjutsu. He doesn't want to kill anybody. So, what was lacking was people coordinating and working together. And that, Marcia Estrada, after the assault by Nebraska State Trooper Lassen and Sheriff Scott DaCosta on the 16th of December of 2020. Yeah, that's right. There's times and dates for everything, too. When those phone calls were made, what I was trying to turn in, I was trying to turn in Scott DaCosta. I was explaining to them that it was a situation involving dead people. Now, if you are a mandated reporter, you know what that means. You already know what that means. You already know legally what that means. When I tell you that I can't take care of myself, those of you who are mandated reporters, who are actually trained, know what that means. You know what your duties are at that point, and you know that if you don't perform those duties at that point, you're in deep shit. But yet, rather than doing those things, what do? You say it won't work. Doing your mandated job, not your optional job. You're not an optional fucking reporter. You're a mandated reporter. And all of you mandated reporters made the same mistake. Now, you guys, I gotta tell you, these folks are now starting to type the stuff and communicate with each other instead of just telling me. And then I have to relay it, and the next person down the line doesn't fucking get heads or tails out of it because, well, there's nobody there with me. I'm called mentally ill. It's just me trying to present it to them. So I'm having to go through and do all of the jobs of a lot of other people, and then I have to be a go-between between all these people. Wouldn't it be easier if they just spoke to one another? Voila! Magnifique! Mwah! Genius! Of course I had that figured out years ago, just nobody listened. Now, I already told y'all about the superhuman effort that Meg Misegatis made in January. She finally took the situation with the assaults seriously after I broke those windows. That's what it took. Before that, as a mandated reporter, no, she wasn't making any effort to help me turn that in. It's not her job, she kept telling me. No, we're all mandated reporters, myself as well. But I'm actually trained in these things. I've been trained in these things. And there's a few things that did catch me for a loop because, the last time that I went to one of these training sessions was at the Boulder Public Library, and it was Darren O'Connor who had invited me to it. And it was a guest speaker who was a lawyer. But that's not the first time that I went through it. And I come to find out a few things have changed in the law since then. There's also a few things that I paid close attention to when they changed in the law. If they had had those body camera laws that I had been fighting for in Boulder, Colorado, going all the way back before 2000. That's right, not just Boulder, Colorado. I'd been speaking out for years, specifically in Boulder, Colorado, about Boulder, Colorado in 2003. Yep. And about medical facilities as well, and people who can abuse their power by abusing the privilege of client confidentiality. Because you don't record it, you're able to lie to your client, especially if your client is called mentally ill. You can lie to them and get away with it because it's not recorded. You're a rubber stamp for the competition, and we're easy prey. And the laws make it that way. When it comes to the HEPA laws, yes, you know what? I admitted that I broke the HEPA laws before Natalie Bollinger was ever killed. Yes, I was well aware that I had broken those laws. I was well aware of that. I was also well aware of the fact that mandatory reporting did not just extend to others, it also extended to me. But also, these other mandated reporters, why are they saying that nobody's going to listen and it doesn't work? Because it's not fucking observed and they fucking know it, just like I do. They're mandated fucking reporters, same as me. The difference is I'm a trained mandated reporter, whereas they are legally obligated mandated reporters. I went and got that training by choice. But those of us who grew up in the 1980s in the system, we got that training every week. Mandatory twice a week in the system as a child, as an adolescent, and even as a young adult. Mandatory twice a week. You have to take those classes, and in most places, they're trying to fill up your time with structure. The more time they can keep you busy, the less time people are fighting each other and biting each other and, well, being up to no good. When you're in an institution, it gets real boring real fast. Unless you got other fun kids to play with. And there's the no contact rule, so basically every game that you play is a distance game. Also, you're not allowed to throw things at each other, although you are allowed to go outside and you're allowed to throw things. Like you are allowed to throw the football at the other person, to the other person. But, you know, they also had rules about how you were allowed to throw it. You can't pelt it at somebody because that's a liability issue. If angers flare up, well, they separate you immediately. That's what they're supposed to do anyway. Depends on if they like you or not. Now, those of you who were sent the mandated reporter information, there's a reason that you were sent that mandated reporter information. It's so that you're aware that the things that I told you were true, so that you can see and verify that although my information was not updated, I have gone through and updated it again. Listen to more recent developments, interruptions, and also why. That's one thing people don't want to listen to. Why did it happen? Why did the law change? Why is everyone a mandated reporter in Nebraska instead of just the professionals? And why are there consequences for professionals not doing their jobs, but these professionals repeatedly refuse to do their jobs because it won't do any good? They gave up. It won't do any good. Well, guess what? That's a horrible excuse for not trying. When not Amy Spencer, see, that's the thing with so many different people. With Amy Witcher, when she told me about her daughter being molested by Andrew Witcher, I wasn't sure how long the amount of time was in Nebraska for turning it in before I legally had to turn it in, because I had to legally. Except that I wasn't in Nebraska. At that point in time, I was in Buffalo, Wyoming. That's right, I was on my way at Amy Witcher's request because she had her ex-husband who molested her children, and he was watching the kids, and she didn't watch the kids because he'd molested the children. But she kicked Andrew out and decided she was done with Andrew because Andrew wouldn't get off the drugs. I found out that the night that her daughter wanted to tell on somebody who had touched her inappropriately. Turned out she told on Andrew. But Amy Witcher, as a parent of that little girl, Amy Witcher did not turn it in. She did not mandatedly report Someone else did. Somebody that I had called to try to get her somewhere safe so that she could safely turn it in herself, so that she wouldn't get into a shit ton of trouble because she didn't turn it in. But that lady, she jumped the gun. That lady did not help to get Amy Witcher to a safe place. And what is it that Amy Witcher complained about immediately? She was pissed off, first of all, because I had told. I'm a mandated fucking reporter. Holy shit, I told. You goddamn right. I know the HEPA laws. I also know that you're allowed to break them. There are very specific situations where you're allowed to break them in. Also, those situations happen to have been happening since the situation with Natalie started. So, yeah, them leaving that stuff out of court, that's illegal. We have judges in fucking prison right now for doing those things. We have judges in prison right now for doing what Judge Randon Rowland did. We have judges in prison right now. That's right. Who did the same things that Judge Weimer did. We have judges in prison right now for what Judge Kathleen M. Jansky did. You want to tell me that these things aren't against the law because these judges say it's not against the law? No, there are judges in prison for it. In those very states. So don't tell me that it's not against the law. If there are people in prison for doing it, if there are judges in prison for doing exactly what those judges did, then yes, what those judges did is illegal. That's why I have to look up so much case law. But what are the first two things that I forget when I'm overwhelmed? Names and numbers. And what's case law? A whole bunch of fucking names and numbers. I can remember the stories, I just don't remember the names and numbers. The little double S-shaped looking thing and then a bunch of numbers and fucking dots. That's one of the things that the cops wanted to fucking throw in my face too. I told them this is against the law and they told me, oh, well, then tell me the code number. Holy shit. Really? Now you think that I memorize numbers in law books? I memorized a few things in my lifetime and it takes repetition. ZYXWVUTSRQPONMLKJHGFEDCBA. But soft, what light up yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief, that thou, her maid, art far more beautiful than she. Miss Martin, Mr. Warren, and Mr. Coe, Team Gold. Freshman year, Lincoln High School, Tacoma, Washington. I was the class for all the smart kids. Someone called Megan Moser typed, "Hi Sean, I hope you're doing okay." I'm not. But I'm still fighting, I'm still trying. I'm also scared shitless. The people next to me have been walking around for about 20 minutes getting everything all prepared, and they have the cutest puppies. Oh my god. And I've been trying to pay attention to what I'm doing instead of staring at their adorable dogs. The HIPAA laws may be broken when it comes to situations of mandatory reporting. People wanted to keep throwing the HIPAA laws in my face. You can't do that in this situation. Megan Moser typed me either, but yes, never stop trying. You'll be okay. I know I'm not okay. She also typed, you'll be okay. I know it. Just breathe and take one day at a time and trust that things will get better. Yeah, no, I'm smarter than that. No offense. I don't trust anyone. Show me. Isn't Missouri the show me state? Show me. A lot of people say they know that I'll be okay. I'm not. I haven't been. I'm emotionally and physically screwed. But let me tell you something. If you put me in an assisted living program where I will be under 24-hour observation, and obviously that wouldn't mean like somebody sitting with me in my room and staring at me for 24 hours a day, but an assisted care facility. With my disabilities, I can't take care of myself. In an assisted care facility, you know what? Lana Engeline would sign for that too. Amanda Engeline would sign for that. Jerry Sparks would sign for that. To have me put in a permanent care facility for the rest of my life. Rose M. Kelly would sign for that. Alicia Bollinger would sign for that. And then those people wouldn't be able to pretend that I would hurt them anymore because I would be under, well, close enough to house arrest. People would always know where I'm at. If Clint Snell has a bad day, wakes up with a real bad headache, kills his wife on accident, instead of people coming after me or going after my sister again, instead they'll go after Clint. They won't try blaming me. Like they tried blaming me with Selena Not Afraid. And they tried blaming me with Natalie Bollinger. And they tried blaming me with Christine Buhit. No, I didn't kill Natalie Bollinger. No, I didn't kill Christine Buhit. No, I didn't kill Selena Not Afraid. I called the FBI like I was supposed to. I called Nebraska Attorney General's office like I was supposed to. See, the trick is to go in from the very start, to not pussyfoot around, to not waste time, to not make open-ended promises. Like, yeah, I'll go in with you. Well, the longer it takes for you to go in with me, the more people are going to be allowed to abuse me. So I'm trying to hold on and be patient until you keep your word, but when it becomes months and even years, you're not going to keep your word. And I got to find another route. I'm sure most of my predators would be willing to sign to have me put in a permanent care facility. An assisted living program, more like a nursing home where there's people there. Another thing is, that would allow a watchdog for that facility. Somebody who, if you abuse the people who are there, well, I won't just stand there and let it happen. I won't look the other way. I won't keep my mouth shut. If anything happens to any of the people in that facility at the hands of the staff, well, I will give that person permission and assistance in getting their story out. Plus, I'll have a place where I can sit and draw